going up the Wi-Fi. Oh, I think we were going to vote that.
I did, but I decided this is gonna be a full moon again. I think that's what's killing my model. Cool.
Yeah, very nice. I'm having a horrible allergy attack right now.
Oh, no. Does that thing do Bluetooth?
I don't know.
The computer? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes, like the ones that we had at Deer, they all did reviews, but IT turned the feature off, so you had to request permission to turn it back on. If you want to use like a Bluetooth keyboard or something.
It might now.
Let me see.
Now discoverable as FSMC dash
Yeah,
JFG.
just sent you a,
Yeah,
did it pop up and say accept?
it would pop up and say
I
accept.
just Bluetooth you some pictures.
Something's here. What am I supposed to be looking for?
But usually you get a pop-up if your Bluetooth is turned on. I didn't email it. Minimize all that. See if it's up.
I can't minimize this while it's recording.
Oh.
I can do that. I don't see anything.
I'll send it again. It didn't tell me it was too large. Okay, you're not discoverable now. You're gone again.
See here.
There you are. Nothing?
Nothing. Unless it's going in my,
What?
I don't know, is it going into my downloads?
It should make you say yes, accept it. Generally, they don't allow you to just put something on somebody's computer. Make yourself discoverable again.
What's this mean? Download over metered
I got
connect.
Samuel Santiago's MacBook Pro on here. But I don't have yours again.
But I don't get a thing that says to accept your request.
What does this mean? More
I don't
Bluetooth?
have a thing to accept.
Wait,
your
what's
request.
this?
Why didn't send it to you?
You can use Bluetooth technology to transfer files wirelessly. This could be to continue. Select if you like to send or receive files. I'm seeing you now.
That would work.
Hello?
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Thanks. Suppose I can turn Bluetooth off so that I don't have anything connected. But some battery on it.
Did you get those?
Wait, hold on. I'm not seeing anything.
Well, you clicked the yes. It should have downloaded it to wherever you told it to download.
I didn't tell it to where to download.
No, it has it in the drop-down box there. I'll send you another batch, and this time you can look. You ready?
Like this.
Okay, I don't see you yet, discoverable.
a minute. Give me the send file. I'm not seeing you. And I'm not seeing somebody else.
You're not showing up on here either. Did you make yourself discoverable again? Like you did?
I never stopped making myself
It looks
discoverable.
like it turns it off automatically. Because you keep on disappearing from mine.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never done this before.
How's it going, Travis? So far.
Saw most of the eclipse last night. It's pretty splendid. Watch it take flight.
That's cool. Did we ever get a student log on for here or guest login? I see a
They-
yes, but
They change it every so often here. If I can find the shared files.
yeah, at least this time it
Okay.
shows yes. Last time I couldn't even get it to show up as yes.
Let me look. Let me look.
Byron, how we doing?
Byron.
Yeah, Kerry wrote back and said he just got back to Dixon, so he won't be able to be on this one tonight.
Jeff, you want to come over here and change the current guest password? I don't know if I can. It's that.
Interesting. I like to go, SAUDs that they used to have like 10 years ago. That's funny.
Somebody let me in on the joke.
The name, password.
Never heard of it.
Did anybody write back and say they were coming by Zoom? I'll bring the microphone, the speaker if they are, but otherwise I'm not gonna make you know.
Bless you. Yes. Nobody offered up a presentation for tonight. People, if we're gonna get back up to 100%, we gotta have some presentations here.
Bring your presentation, Rusty. Put a smile on Dr. Mitchell's face. What's that? Yeah, the gas presentation.
see that video? I
Yes, I
sent?
did.
She put an order in for that car?
No.
No?
Demonstrate how the simultaneous presence of oxygen and methane in the planet's atmosphere could be a sign of life.
Or free fuel for your car. I bet you were laughing your butt off, so I was cracking up. This is $2, Roy? No. This one's better yet. Oh, jeez. I sent it to Mike too, never heard a word from him. I texted him. I'll fix it. Looks like it's rubbing. All your truck this time. They put it pressure.
So what's an easy way to get a hold of you if you don't look at your
We
text?
started that, my son and I started that.
It was before 4 o'clock, my school email.
Running. Finished.
I look, well, I look at my texts if my phone is on me and vibrating when it comes. Unfortunately, when you sent the text, my phone was in the other room recharging.
Evacuated the system. Yeah. Actually, I did. Took it up with my buddy. When he died. I needed, I knew if I had to do it. So, I worked on the street with, he just sucked all again. Wasn't that much. I still have my paid cert. Yeah. Yeah, I got. What do you do? Yeah, I got the gauges and stuff, but I never had to get it back. So I don't know what's that. Yeah. Then we had the whole evacuation system. When it was
Jeff,
They had a.
Yeah,
you know that
it's not asking for a password, so.
remember that picture that you sent me about that thing that was overdue? Did you ever take that back to the post office?
Yeah.
It was the wrong. post-
Yeah, it wasn't for us.
Yeah, it was like 3708, except that it was kind of fuzzy, so they put it in the wrong place.
My computer, when I try to connect to it, the password does on my phone.
Your computer must have.
Well, except for I can't connect it up with the phone.
You have access to the network here?
So you might need to get that password to re-enter the new one.
Well, there's no way.
There should be. Right click the Wi-Fi
Oh,
box.
geez.
Go to settings.
Oh, well. Too late. Yeah, too late now. I say never too late. You know what you sold it for. Give me my car.
Network.
Yeah.
Down on the bottom right edge.
Oh, I forgot to do that again.
Bottom right.
He said door was. That one, the front door was open.
Yes. Security came through.
Yeah. Oh, God, I have to take up. Back. Take from the road or other stuff. I mainly went up. Photograph. That's bid by. wood. It's brush removal, chainsaw.
Excellent. Thank you.
So
You're welcome.
That's bizarre.
every month I
Your
start-
business.
I don't know why does it just say, oh, one password?
And I
Oh, yeah.
got closer and closer to that ditch, cleaning it out. I'll go about another 6 inches there. Yeah, smash out. Let's keep all that brush.
What's that?
Oh, no. Yeah, I got stuck right there. First, this wheel's up. This wheel's down there, so I'm just gonna back up. She was,
Well,
the
if you
guy
guys
said,
haven't given me context.
Red Boss are supposed to be bringing my tires. up.
Why did she say
I
that?
haven't done
So,
it yet, so
I told you,
once I shot it back
Yeah.
down the hole,
Nor once
I tried to turn it.
it.
And basically straightens out my trust. It's the perfect position to pull it out.
Oh, yeah, you need a plate truck. It just didn't make it.
Can't get everybody in the field of view.
Why is that? All you found is-
Yeah, it can be done.
That's stupid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we need a real
The
camera.
question, Serby, isn't how do we do it? The question is why?
And there's no one there that will argue.
25 horse engine.
That's too funny. That's why she is.
So I
Always
said-
think about it.
I sent an email basically saying it's stupid. I said it to Travis later on Jeff.
Well, that's your first mistake.
See?
Come in.
So now that you have context, you believe me now.
I believe you now. Okay.
Oh, really?
That's too funny though.
How the hell do you do that?
Yeah, I sent you that email. Your reply is made to
Yeah.
context or.
No, you didn't give me the.
Got a big chunk taken out the side of it. And
Yeah, I saw that you. It was one of those that literally. Big chunks was in my insane.
What would else did you do?
all the barrels is all in there. Big shit.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I have to do all the taxiways, I gotta start at the hinge, I gotta do 3 laps out. All of them. Lights. You know, I can do around this, every one of those lights. Plus, I mean, I do the front.
So they did a background check on me. They gave me a badge to Wilton School. By
No,
law.
I put the back
And a badge.
I know, like, if you knew,
Of Myers.
I know.
what's the average life?
Really?
He's got a badge with your logo on it?
No.
We've had them come in that were.
But
I could borrow it. That's not very senior.
I know, it's weird. So anyway, I said, well, all I really need is access to one door.
We've had them come in that
Our
were.
system isn't that elaborate.
So it's hours on it, so now you have full access now.
Destroyer.
Yeah.
24/7.
And that's the other thing I said, I said, you know, I really only need it like 5 PM, whatever, because somebody's at the school, otherwise. People that are allowed to get in.
That's kind of.
So it's not that elaborate.
It's funny.
Go, boom.
That is kind of funny. So when did you get it?
So, had one come in, when wheels are shredded.
Got some files. some
Guy
stuff.
just kept rolling. Well, the back wheels was just shredded to pieces. It was like flat.
It is weird, essentially.
Ran over. Then we had other ones come in and it had. I don't know, one of them had like
There's
50
Alan of the
I
thing.
don't have a robust background check. Sorry, you probably just-
And they weren't just in the tread, they were in the sides.
And
And,
No, I had to fill out a form.
yeah, the one that the tire was shredded. The guy says, oh, yeah, he says, I hit something and took a chunk out of the sidewalk. Yeah, we saw.
I'm
the
feeling
chunk.
good.
We just kept driving.
It's funny, how do I get rid of that? What's that?
They do, yeah. You don't have to read the help. There's stalls for that.
About what? I don't know, we'll see. Now that I can do this, at least, oh, I should send, I don't know if I sent me the pictures.
I was.
Let's see here.
Then we had a lot of trouble with Kawasaki motors. Really? That's what I had on this one. Now, we had and these are only certain years. Ours was new last year. This spring, the exhaust, getting off the exhaust.
Hi, Al.
Howdy.
Thanks for joining. Will you be able to hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And Mike is joining us tonight. Hi, Mike.
Hello. How we doing?
Mostly all right.
You want to hold the upstairs door open for me, and I'll go out and get a speaker so that we can hear people talk on the.
Okay.
I see him.
Rusty. Taking away, or you can connect that jack, project there, listen to those speakers.
If there
That's
is,
the-
I don't.
That is the way it's designed. So, let me look, I'm pretty sure, at least on all the conference rooms, there were connectors on the wall.
Let's see.
All the connectors behind you there. Yeah, bringing them all in here somewhere. Yeah. There's something, but I had no idea. But all is connected in here, I'm not sure. Always a phone. There's one from here, that's for the video. Your mouse.
What about this? This one's labeled.
Oh, yeah, that's your output from here. This is a switch. So there's gotta be one input. And this thing, one of them should be into, oh, that's the cable into switcher. So,
Never it's caught on something.
can you see it? When I push it,
Goes
This-
back up here.
so where is this coming from?
It's
Oh.
coming from this.
Yeah, but that's the input into switcher. So where is,
But I mean, this is connecting with this.
right? So where the other end goes?
It,
Oh,
this
this
is,
is it.
this is it. For some reason, they plugged this in.
Oh,
They plugged both ends into the same thing.
plug into switcher. Oh, do not plug into switcher. This has to be.
Some wise.
So what about, do you have an HDMI output?
I do, yes.
Let's try that.
All right.
Usually. You need to turn that on, I guess.
I did.
I see something.
So do I.
You're finally decided to join us.
I had the siphon gas from my neighbors. That's what I wanted.
What is that? You don't have enough money?
Nothing stupid about it.
Who would buy us a stupid telescope?
Hi, Paul.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you here, yes.
I can hear you.
Of course, I'm right up against the, I think I know where the volume control is here. At least I know what box it is. I have no idea what knob to turn for it. Can somebody online do a sound check for us, please?
Hello?
Hello?
Yep, I can
Hello.
hear you.
Okay, I can hear you through the laptop, but we're trying to.
That's what this is for.
That one. We're trying to fix it so we can hear you through some speakers in the room.
Definitely talk.
Oh, you're trying to do the sound there, because I'm stereo feedback.
I can hear something.
I don't. No, I have to put the last speaker over there. That's because the microphone was picking me and it's projected to other. Real. No. Oh. I don't know. Jeff, I'll let you stay last night.
What?
I'll let you stay last night.
Right about 12.
Oh.
Not too late.
I thought this was a sound control.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why is it echo?
Sound that goes to that thing. Sounds. Wow.
They say he's lost.
It's picked up off of there.
Unless it's picking up off of there. You want to try turning off your mic once?
Let's see, turning off my microphone. How do I do that? Oh,
Yeah, hook up to the drug and that, yeah.
I have no idea if that worked. Yeah, turned off.
I don't know what it was. What's that? Yeah, I don't know. That carried somebody.
Can anyone online hear me?
Yep. Coming in 5 by 5.
I can hear you.
I heard Al.
Oh,
yeah. So is this working?
Yes.
Seems to be.
Okay.
You need to investigate how to use those speakers. That was the best, that would be the ideal thing.
The only problem with that, again, is microphones.
Not if you use the one from the computer.
It was feeding back this far away from that computer to this computer without my mic.
Oh,
And I don't think it is now.
okay.
Every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Hello, Jim.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, that is nice.
at Mullen.
Was wrong.
Already doing my speech. Still just about. Not seeing it, like, or somebody-
No, you're going to.
Only now.
It's a, yeah, I'm going, or no, I'm not, but that's like.
It's right.
You know, put a little sign up next to it that says add one.
You're assuming the college students have one.
Okay, point taken.
As long as they have this, they can. The oracle of all knowledge.
Yeah. PC.
Mine, I just. Assuming all our technology is working right, and assuming everybody online can still hear me from over here. Now we begin. All right. So, hello?
Hello?
All right, so agenda, past events. So PAC had an event on April 16th. Scheduled to, how did that go?
Went pretty good. Like quite a few people. Yeah. Yep, they're not having that, a number of people there.
And then
It was chilly.
it's chilly for most of April.
Yes. Yeah.
And then St. Ambrose had a public night at Menke on April 23rd. That went pretty well. People show up, people in the club.
Was that cloudy that night? It was still, I mean, some people showed up, but I don't think we were that clear that night. All right. I was not there.
Off and on. I think, if I remember correctly, the hot clouds did hold off for a couple of hours after sunset, and then they started moving in around 10 o'clock or so.
Okay.
Ankle biter.
Dog eat dog world.
May 7th, our astronomy day. Couldn't ask for better weather that day. Absolutely clear day and night.
For a while.
Yeah.
But that, yeah, some haze started moving in around 11 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, you're just warming.
You want
up.
some pictures from that?
Please, please.
All you need to do is ask. Let me,
I think I set it up so anyone can share.
see. There's a better way of doing this. That's the telescope that if a club member wanted, that is there. But I think, Jim, are we going to go ahead and stick that in the new roll off whenever it's available?
We sure can.
Or did you change your mind? You want to keep it?
No, I have enough telescopes that I'd be happy if some other members of the club would like to use this one.
It also doubles as a beer bong.
Yeah. I don't say it can, I don't like it.
And that's Howard Cox. He brought a 50mm solar scope. And in the forefront there to the left is my rig. That's that 100mm, the 80mm Explorer Scientific with the white light wedge.
Very nice.
And that masked guy there eating food. Well, those 15x70s, Dr. Mitchell?
Yes,
Binoculars?
50 by 70. I didn't have filters on, so I was using the video instead.
John Baker brought his Beast SCT. And there's Cecil. And Cecil, I forgot the scope you had on there. Was that like a 90mm with your quark on it?
Yeah, it was 90mm.
Yeah. And that was kind of like almost a maiden voyage for you, wasn't it?
Well, yes and no. I had troubles with things in the past. I tried it a few times, and the mount, which is designed to find and follow the sun, it has a difficult time finding the sun, and you have a choice between 8 AA batteries or 12 volts. And the 8 AA batteries just never seem to work well. So there is a supposedly a 12 volt kind of adapter that's supposed to be included. I don't think I got one, so I've made one and hooked it up to a 12 volt battery. And that thing will run all day, for weeks on that. And other times in the past, when I first got everything, nobody had any 40mm Teleview Plossels. So I bought a 32 and I used a 32 and it was an awful image. So then I hooked the cork up to another, lithium ion battery, and that worked fine for that. And once everything got all hooked up, it was real, it worked pretty well. And the only thing is, this will come up in something I say later, but we were looking at the sun, and there was a big flare on one side, and it was there for quite a while, and then all of a sudden it looked like it was hovering over the sun's surface, which I thought was kind of odd, but it was pretty interesting. And then I looked through Jeff's lunt, which is a 100mm triplet, and you could see there was a little finger between the sun's surface and the flare. So it wasn't actually separated from the surface. So, and the rest comes later.
At least you got it to work.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my rig again. I think that was all I've got for that. I thought I had some nighttime pictures in there too. I think I do.
yes, then we went out to the Menke Observatory that evening, and most of our clear skies continued, and we had for Jeff, how many people did we have come to the daytime park?
It's like 67.
67 people. Then, well, I had 3 of them come to the observatory. They around, looked at several different sites, asked questions. These three people, family, they also came to the daytime event.
I'm gonna unshare. I don't know what I do with the evening pics.
Thanks.
Pics of everybody, but Cody was there. Byron's friend, and Byron was there, and I was there. Travis was there.
Travis was not. Yeah.
No. we're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
nighttime,
yeah. I was there.
Robert was there. He must still be on my phone. I thought I sent him over to this.
All the success. And then, did anyone come last night to
Yeah, I could
the
share.
Bicentennial Park to see the lunar eclipse?
Yeah, interesting enough, we only had like 3 guests come. One of them was one of the guys that's on the planning and zoning committee with me. And then some lady came over for a little bit. And then the mayor came over for quite a while, and hung out with us. And he's interested in us doing more stuff up there. And he was talking about, I think he's got some kind of a event June 1st up there that he might have us do something during the day, some solar stuff, weather pending. We don't do 4th of July parades up there anymore. So we thought about having some kind of event during the day again for the 4th of July. So then he talked about it was too bad that they didn't have a small observatory up there in the park. So he was kind of hinting around about mine. So I might see if they want to pour a slab in a pier and stick that up in Riverdale. So let's see what happens. But anyway, that was the little note they did. They had it posted up there. Let's see which end do I go to implement this? Maybe I don't. And a new probable member, his name is Larry, and that's his rig. And he was doing some imaging for the first time. He just bought that. He's getting close to retirement. And we talked, I got there about 7:30 and he got there about 7:45. We just talked for about an hour. And then other club members came in. So that was his rig. Why isn't this one implementing like the other one did? But anyway, I think, yeah, I can give that a shot. But I think it's a William optic scope. And I think he said, I think it's a 90mm. And that's an iOptron mount. And I forgot what model camera he said he had, but it is a ZWO. It's not an Attic. But no. And Cecil, is that one yours?
Yeah, that was Cecil.
So Cecil's.
Still there, Cecil?
Yep, I'm back.
That's at your rig,
What now?
one that's showing right now, yeah.
Yeah, those are, 25 by 100s. And, it was good enough for the eclipse. It fogged up a couple of times and I finally had to shut it down.
That is bizarre. Well, maybe I can just do this. And that, I just brought half of my solar rig, so that's that same 80 millimeter, but I just don't have the wedge on there. That did pretty good. And just a few of the pics we took, no particular order. These are just with my cell phone, no, nothing spectacular again. And it was really terrible because when I was trying to get this set up, there was a star right there. And by the time I got it lined up, the star would move behind the moon. So I was really kind of bummed because that was kind of cool.
Al's got a video of double star.
Yeah, we had 3 across at one point. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Dana was out using the 20-inch. I think he's doing another collage like he did the previous years. I know Matt Nielsen was out and he did some imaging and had some stuff posted. We had a couple other members out doing some stuff. So there were like 3 other Riverdale members that posted stuff on the Riverdale page that actually had telescopes. So I'll be banging on some doors up there to see if I can do some recruiting of those folks too. So anyway, that's all I had for that.
Anyone else go out to see it?
Me and Al and Ken Boquist were out at Paul Castle.
Yeah, you want to see some pictures from that?
Sure. Sure.
Let me see if I can do it here. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's at the Castle Observatory. And Rusty set up his telescope here on the left. And of course, we got the observatory here in the background. Ken Boquist is on the right. This is Allie Nordic with a NASA t-shirt on. And me and Rusty. And I don't remember what Ken had set up there for telescope, but that was the 3 of us had scopes in operation there. And let's see here. I was shooting pictures of carbon stars. They're not hugely interesting. Let me see here. See if I can get this to go forward. Here we go. Here's a picture of the this is a wide field picture, just looking out with the eclipsed moon out here. All you see is a kind of a bright reddish dot out there in Scorpius. And then that's one of the pictures I got taken through the telescope in the observatory. This was towards the end of the eclipse, so you can kind of see down here in the southwestern part of the image here, where it's starting to become light again. And up here on the upper right, I don't know if you can see it, there's a double star right there, which had just emerged. I missed it coming out, but I got it after 30 seconds or so. And I do have a video. Let me see if this, I don't know if this will work. Here's a video of that double star as it was being occulted by the moon. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yep. Yes.
So there, the first star just got eclipsed or occulted, and then about 15 seconds later, then the second one.
That must have been the same one I was just talking about.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's gone.
Now, see, that proves that the moon is flat because they went right straight behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moon's flat, right?
Yeah, that is very cool. That's a good little video to hang on to.
Yeah, it's really amazing. The stars, of course, you wouldn't see them normally because the surface of the moon would be too bright when they're being occulted like that. But in this case, it was really amazing, and it's also amazing how quick they wink out.
Yeah, let's end on that topic. So that'd be the case for a star. If it was an extended object like a planet, I guess it would dim down more slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't have an example of that, Jim, but I would assume that Mars or Jupiter or something like that would take a while for it to be covered up.
Is that because the atmosphere diffuses the light before it goes behind it then?
No, I'm sorry, that's because stars, they are so distant, they are literally pinpoint objects.
Sure.
Yeah, stars actually have no size at all in our field of view, whereas the moon, you know, covering it up, it's just going to only take a fraction of a second to interrupt that stream of photons from that star. So it's basically going to wink out instantaneously. Anyway, that's what I got. I got more pictures here, but most of them are boring.
I'll email them. Coming up next. Axe got an event this Saturday.
Yeah, we're doing a thing at Loud Thunder. The Boy Scouts at 1 o'clock Saturday. Miami Saturday night.
Busy. So now we start a boring old graduation ceremony. And then QCAS's next public night is June 4th at Menke. And was on June 25th. It's not too early. We should start getting a head count of who's planning to be at the June 4th event. Might be there, yes.
Yeah.
So that day too. Saturday night.
Would any of you rather go out to Wilton and have the public event out there?
This is a club if you can't go to the club.
What's that?
What use is the club if you can't go to the club?
Well, you can, but that's a public event. Wilton's about the same
We could
distance. as-
drive on the grass now, is that okay? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think it's solid as it can be. I mean, where we pull up on the grass, we're on the high ground. So it's all, everything kind of slopes down to that, you know.
Toward that summit tree.
Yes, towards that area. So I mean, even coming off that main road, everything kind of grades down. You're better off coming off the main road into that narrow entrance than coming down low and coming back up. It's gonna be wetter down there. So you're saying follow the black top all the way? No, I'm saying come in that first entrance. Okay. Because everything grades down. So if you're gonna have any retention of water and softness, it's gonna be down there towards where the new dome is, or the dome has been moved in. Everything else is up high. It flows away from there. So yeah, I mean, we had 3 trucks out there, 2 trucks and a Jeep. 2 Jeeps and a truck, I guess. There was no sag in there.
I'd say tear.
Yeah. It's fine.
Well, Jeff, you're saying about Wilton.
Yeah, I really don't care. The only thing I'm thinking of is Wilton
is right in their town, and it's pretty dark out there. Since it's a public event, we get zero public showing up at Dixon. So I thought maybe we could try something different. But that's fine. It might be too early for that anyway.
And as I say, St. Ambrose's next public night is on June 25th. That's another Saturday. As far as the public events for the club are concerned, the next big one is the New Year's shower party on July 30th. Are there any updates we should know about that?
No, except for I don't, might not be a bad idea to find someplace different for it. Because I haven't heard back from Ian yet, whether or not, he needs to be there or not.
Particular place we can start sending out feelers for.
Again, it'd be nice to have it in town, someplace reasonably close. Of course, darker the better, but.
What cities might not be ideal.
Where there was mention of that, what is it, Lost Grove or whatever?
Lost Lake.
Lost Grove Lake,
Lost Grove Lake.
It was
out
mentioned
out the ridge.
closer than Dixon, and it's, I don't know, I've never been there, but I guess it's dark enough. Is it? Yeah.
Nice big flat parking lot.
We have to get permission to do it.
Nope. And the only thing is you got a lot of people pulling their boats out right at dark. So there's kind of a transition period there, but usually they're gone by 10 o'clock in the summer.
I don't expect to have the same type of crowd, but the one year we had 400 people. Well, we told 400 people all of a sudden showing up.
Yeah, that's a mass.
That's what our last one over at Pleasant Valley Junior High had. We had the parking lot, pretty good sized parking lot filled, and then they walked around the school to the back. I don't expect that being out at Lost Grove that we'd have that kind of a crowd, but
The school brought that crowd on, I'm sure, once they knew it was going to happen or maybe advertised, but it's not as far, it's kind of centrally located, but maybe not for people that live in Illinois, but it's, a good place to go. I think I've been out there 2 or 3 times with a small telescope looking at stuff, but you got a little glow from the southern horizon, but where do we not go that we don't have a glow from somewhere? But it's a nice flat area. You don't have anything in the way. I mean, it's clear horizon all the way around, 360 degrees.
Discuss it in more detail in the next board meeting.
And it's all asphalt to get there. It's the first time out, it might be a little bit confusing, but with GPS, you can pretty much find anything.
How many have been to Lost Grove Lake before?
Probably I'm the only one. Patty and me, since it's close, it's just north of where we live, out on Utica Ridge Road. I think it's 220th when you're going north on Utica Ridge and you take a right and you don't turn into that first entrance, but you and it's probably, maybe 2 or 3 miles to the east of that intersection. I think 220th and Utica Ridge. And I think there's a yellow sign with a cross on it, meaning that's a crossroad there. And just take a left and go north a little bit, maybe 1/4 mile or so, if that, and take a right into the parking lot.
More of us should head out there to scout the areas, see what
looks like. I went out there once in the dark, and the glow was to the south is pretty horrendous. Not real favorable. You know, if there's any humidity in the air, you gotta, you know, you're getting that dome from the Quad Cities pretty good. And then on the other end, you got Clinton. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you got Eldridge, but you got kind of 3 points of glow. I mean, if it's crisp and there's no humidity in the air, I mean, you can have some improvement straight up. But as soon as you get 10 to 15 degrees off straight up, you're going to be battling the haze and glow.
We'll just keep seeing what happens with the Pleasant Valley. And then if we don't need to reserve it or anything, we can always just grab that then, but we could also, North High School, I think is too much in town. I think North Scott is, I don't know how bad that would be.
What time of the year is that? August?
This is July.
July 30th.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of humidity probably. A lot of haze and glow from the city lights.
Yeah.
I think check to at least see if any planets in the sky by then. There, please get close something.
We're going to have planets up by then?
That's what I want to find out.
We usually, every year we have, now I don't know whether this is gonna be any different because it's a little bit earlier than we normally do it.
That usually doesn't make,
Well, right now they're all in the morning sky. So.
yeah, that doesn't make a lot of difference with got bright planets. That's what you're focusing on. But anything deep sky, you're not going to do much impressive.
What's the date?
July 30th.
July 30th? Let me check here.
While you're checking, Eastern Iowa Star Party, that's still on for September 23rd, 25th. And we're still talking about like, keeping low key again this year like we did last year. Registration fee. Snacks, so like store-bought munchies.
I thought that last year we didn't advertise it outside the local clubs really. So this year I think I will advertise it to some of the other surrounding clubs and kind of gradually get back into it, but do it the same way, just kind of advertise it as just come and bring your gear and hang out and do it. And then maybe next year, maybe we'll start getting another guest speaker in. So.
Looks like Saturn might be visible like after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's kind of late for me. Most people have their kids in bed.
Well, it's a weekend. And the one last year we went to almost 1 a.m.
They stuck around.
We had probably 40 people then. And then when we left, of course, they probably weren't looking at meteorites, but we probably had a dozen kids out in the bleachers yet when we left. So.
Yeah, the planets aren't going to be in the best position probably for another month or so. Jupiter comes up at like 11:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30 on the 30th of July.
I think it's too late to push the meteor shower party to the following new moon. Because this is the new moon closest to the center of the meteor shower.
Oh, the peak.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is off peak, but it lasts for 2 to 3 weeks. So, you know, peak hit right with a new moon or with a full moon or a nearly full moon. So what I did is I just figured that it would be better to be off peak, but with no moon than, yeah. But of course, like you said, Byron, I mean, we're hitting right into that bad weather and the haze and all that kind of stuff. And like Ellen was just saying, planets aren't quite up yet. I think, wasn't our last one like August 12th?
Yeah, I know it's close.
Yeah. So that gives us another almost a month for the planets because, you know, I thought we had Saturn and Jupiter up and maybe even Mars. I know we caught Venus at early.
Last year?
or the year before, whatever that.
Year before, yes.
So, and that was really cool because they had stuff to see because the meteors were like, have been nilled. So,
August, if you went like 2 weeks later, I realized the moon would be more in the way, but sometimes the moon can be an interesting object, you know, for kids. And you got Saturn and Jupiter in a little bit better position too, a little earlier.
It's not close to full moon.
well,
Yeah,
that's good for a general public event, but if we're billing it as a meteor shower party, I mean,
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. It's not going to be the best for meteors, but
and we do have 2 public open houses in August yet. So, you know, we will have opportunities like that for public.
Yes.
mhm.
Both SAU and St. Ambrose will have this one home.
You know what? I think I was a year off here.
Excellent.
2022 is the year we're in, right?
So far.
Last time I checked.
Yeah, fast forward.
Hang on a second here. 2022, July 30th at 10:30. Okay, no, I was right. Saturn is in fairly good position, but Jupiter doesn't rise until about almost 11. You probably wouldn't see anything before 11 o'clock on
So
Jupiter.
we're not planning on giving away a telescope this year, I don't think. But do we want to do something? We could have a contest for kids at a certain age to draw a picture of Saturn and then have them turn them all into us, and then we'll give them some kind of an award or prize if there's that they won. That could be a riot. Bring your own crayons.
Give away a 100mm one.
Yeah.
They could draw the rings. They could draw as many as the moons as they can see. Titan would be good.
We'll talk about that next board meeting, but it'd be fun to do something a little bit different. We made a little bit of money on that raffle for the scope.
Yeah. So we got enough tables for life for the kids to draw on, or?
Well, see, that is just it without having access to the school. We did last time, we had, I think, 4 cafeteria tables you brought out for us.
Okay.
And I had one set up with 2 computers running presentations. Actually, I had 3 presentations. I had 2 tables for the tickets and then 2 screens with 2 projectors shooting them up. So. It all depends on where we're at, so what we can do really.
Okay, that's it for upcoming public events. The one other item on that list, and that's the Women's Outdoor Club of Quad Cities asked the QCAS to host a special star party for them on July 16th.
What is that? Outdoor Women's Club.
Women's Outdoor Club. Yeah, we've done a couple of special parties for them as well. They camp out at Wapsie River Center.
Am I getting them confused? There was one women's group that what they do is they charge a fee to their members. And for that fee, they supply them things to do either monthly or weekly or something like that. So they try to find different things. So that they always were asking, well, what do you guys charge to do that? And then we always say, we don't charge anything. However, donations are appreciated. And this is an approximate amount, but I don't know if that's the same people. So, but do you know what time they said they wanted to do that? If they're going to camp out, it can be late. So, because that Kiwani one, they wanted it during the day or early, right?
I'll email them again and get some more specifics.
Okay.
Make note of that. the agenda for tonight. Just a spoiling our good weather. Has anybody bought anything here lately?
I bought a little,
Power weight, a couple of battery supplies for my.
So I did buy the one, I brought that. Did I say that I bought a ZWO camera 174?
First time hearing it.
I bought that for the lunch so I could do solar, and everybody was recommending that camera. So I was gonna actually try that last night, or yeah, whatever the lunar eclipse was, on my scope for the moon, if we didn't have any public showed up, but then we had people show, so I could do it. And then I bought for the solar astronomy day, and it didn't come in time, but I bought a Baader Zoom. And I had one before and I loved it. And I decided I didn't need it because I was using my TV eyepieces. Well, I kind of missed it, so I bought a new one. So I've got that with their Barlow. So it does a pretty good job. It's not a teleview. We were looking at it last night, Cecil and Sam and I, and it's okay, but it's just, I don't know. It's a good one to keep in the lunt case for solar viewing. So.
It's okay last night.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's not as crisp on the edge as what I remembered. And the narrower field of view always gets me, because it's like 70, I think, where I had it. And I'm used to 100 or 110.
Oh, it's not even 70, it's like 40 degrees. It's
Yeah,
pretty narrow.
yeah, it's pretty narrow.
But-
The field stop doesn't get me on that, so it's usable.
Anyone else? What do you got here for sale?
Who's that?
Out for sale?
I know somebody who's looking for something. A guide scope, preferably 50 millimeter with the helical focuser on it. Anybody's got one of those for sale? Yeah, you got, it's actually a two-stage focuser. So you got the slide tube, and then you have the fine twist. Helical to it. Yeah. Geez.
Right angle or straight through?
Straight through. Guys, no less than 50 mils.
Is that for Cody?
Anyone else? That brings us to the presentation portion of our program. Anyone improvise?
So, last astronomy day, I wasn't in town, I was in Murfreesboro. And during the school year at the university, the first Friday of every month, they have a star party. And it's on campus, they have their own observatory, but we didn't get to go out to the observatory because of the clouds. But they conducted like an hour and a half classroom presentation. So this is the first time I attended one, and it was on exoplanets. It was pretty interesting. I mean, she had a slideshow and everything. There was a professor there. Also, I read that up. Let's do this. But, it won't start up until September again. Back there again to see. And the reason I go there, my son lives there. He's, yeah, Middle Tennessee. That's all I've got. If you guys want to go down there.
I'll book my trip now. I'm on my way.
What part of Tennessee?
So it is south of Nashville. Like a 20-minute drive. It's not that far. On I-24. There you go. Short to the point.
It's got something to talk about.
So I got the vehicle. That's right there. That's what it's for. Yeah. What you look for. That's worst rating on here. That's what I think. Open box depreciation. Open box. So what's it worth now to you?
It's probably more.
Yeah.
You know, with inflation and the
Biden
low,
inflation.
and the high demand.
Yeah, astronomy and Biden economics do not, they don't line up.
But you better hurry because it might be out of stock.
Yeah. It's an out of stock. Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I can guarantee at least one.
Oh, so how much you want for it?
Everything.
Okay.
It's just sitting in my basement. I haven't used it, so I think it's time to start making money out of it.
Musty basement. Musty basement. Oh, that's hard on metal.
Who's that? Paul Saeger. What the heck is he doing on there? I've got the roster.
He was out in Hawaii.
Oh, are you coming from Hawaii? Did you see that he got what did he say? He got a behind the scenes tour of the Keck telescope in Hawaii. Holy crap.
He had an interview.
Was that an interview? Is that what it was?
You went out there for an
I
interview.
can't remember so much
To do some type of IT work out there. So yeah, they flew him and his wife out there so he could go through.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just he was vacationing. I knew he mentioned that before.
Maybe I left cat out of the bag. Sorry, Paul.
Sounds
No,
like we have our presentation.
he mentioned that.
Yeah, hey, there you go. There's your presentation.
Right
Hey,
there.
David, you there, Paul?
Oh. It's hiding from us.
Okay, hold on.
Pause for station identification.
Texting. Say, talk to us, Paul. We have you in the Zoom meeting.
classes. I can't just stand around 10 minutes waiting for a student to answer a question.
Later or what? Oh, wait a minute. Couldn't get any audio.
You can't get his audio.
Yeah.
What if he can call us and put him on speakerphone?
No, really.
Is he using dial-up again? Is he using dial-up to connect?
There's a phone right there. Get the phone. Just hold it up to the mic. That'll work. That'll work just fine.
While we're waiting, unless anyone else has a presentation they can give us. Next item is the treasurer's report.
Did he sign off?
Signed off.
Maybe he's gonna try to get back on with his audio.
Meantime, let's do something.
They got it all staying under the hokey pokey. Okay.
Yeah. Won't dance, don't ask me.
Yeah, Sam can do the treasurer's report.
There you go.
Well, not much has changed. The only, we had one member pay the dues during that time. And so our general fund is at 2,146.32. Event funds still at 327.30. The observatory relocation is at 40,547.78. Our total right now is 43,021.40.
So what is the plan out there for getting the cement work done on that bowl?
Plan for the cement work and roll.
Yeah, since we're talking about this 40,000 in the relocation fund.
Uh,
You've got the bid for it.
He's been, yeah,
right?
he's been hired, told to do it. So
Yes.
whenever he can get out there.
So that's a go then.
I think Jim or Mike said that cement guy told him like sometime by the end before the end.
Okay. That's not gonna get any cheaper.
No.
Cement's going up like everything.
Concrete evidence of that.
See what you did there.
Had to do something.
Yeah. Plus diesel fuel. Surcharges on that to bring it out.
Do we have a motion to approve the treasury report?
Aye. Second.
Second.
I guess we need a motion and a second before we can approve.
So someone made a motion, someone seconded.
Yep, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Board is approved. Next item,
Observatory relocation.
observatory relocation. Yes. Bring up something about that. Tomorrow at 11:30, the Regional Development Authority is having their board meeting at the Ritten City Casino. And they sent out an email a couple of weeks ago with a list of grantees, and we're still in the running for the grant that we applied for. and I think it sounded this email, it sounds like they're gonna make their final decisions at this board meeting. And they've invited, people from grant applications to come and attend. It's not gonna be an open mic, but they said they are gonna invite 5 grantees to give a brief statement about their applications. Now, we didn't get mentioned specifically, so I'm assuming we're not one of those 5, but we can at least attend. I'm gonna be there at 11:30, and Jeff, you're gonna be there too. Great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Put it all on black.
I do have a couple questions on that. Do you remember what amount we asked for on this grant this time? Was it 20,000?
27,000.
27? And what did we,
Or was it?
27 was the first time.
It was 20 something this time.
so do you remember what we got from them last time?
13,500. They only gave us half. of what we
Okay.
asked for.
So that'd be, if they gave us the other 13, we'd be right in there with the building.
I was gonna say, I was wondering how much we were short.
And then we need to buy the gear we wanted to put in there. So we need to keep doing this. So
Yes.
one more year of it and we're gonna be pretty much in like Flynn.
If they give us some money.
Yeah.
But at the very least, us being there might start to connect with some other people, make give them faces to go with the name for club. At least.
And we still get $1,000 from Wilton yet to add on to that. And I'm expecting another 750 from Mid-American. So that will take another little chunk out. And then we'll be feeding Travis, since Travis works at Mid-American, we'll be feeding him some hours to turn in. So, because at the retirement date for me, they don't take care of retired employees like they do at 3M. Jim can do stuff and they turn it in, but they don't at Mid-American. There's
We lost you. Had you.
Hello.
Sounds like, Jeff, you need to go back to work.
Is that you, Paul?
It's me. How are you doing?
Are you using dial-up?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe that was the problem, that you had the old rotary phone and you were having problem sticking it on that.
No. I was just using my phone. I'm not sure where I have a computer right now.
Still in Hawaii?
No, I'm home, back in Charlotte. But yeah, Hawaii is that's a good time.
You should share some pictures.
Well, I would need a few minutes to find the laptop.
Everything, I'll keep my notes straight. And then after that, then we'll just go right, I'll put the presentation there on the notes, if that's okay.
Well, I mean, that's all I have to say about the RDA board meeting tomorrow. Is there any other, are there any other updates on the observatory?
Well, I think John Baker was out at the roll-off building playing with the 20-inch, and I think he said that Rusty did a fine job beefing that up. And Dana was out there last night using it, and I didn't hear back from Dana yet, but Dana would have said something right away if there was a problem. So he told me that, the focuser on one side of it was gone, and I know John was working on that. So it sounds like Rusty fixed it. And not that there was any doubt.
Thank you very much. See your astro photos, you have some talents. You're better at it than I am.
And we get you there in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Was there any updates on the 12-inch or the cave mount?
For the dome.
The dome?
This is Jim. I've been out there a couple times. Mike and I have talked about, making progress on that. And the counterweight shaft was pretty rusted. So I de-rusted that and was able to slide the counterweight off the shaft. Took a look at the rest of the mount. Originally thought maybe disassembling it into quite a few pieces, but now my thinking, although I haven't talked this over with Mike, is if we could just pull the head off of the pier, now that the counterweight is off of it, I think that that'd be manageable, either by using maybe 3 people doing the lifting, or maybe even having a little chain fall supported from overhead and then dropping it down, carrying it over into the dome. But that's the plan, is to move the cave mount into the dome.
It was funny that Carrie that was at the Eclipse over at Riverdale, that's gonna probably join the club. He knew the chiropractor that owned that dome in Eldridge. So talk about a small world, because he started talking about it. I said, "Oh, I know that dome. We've got it over at Menke." He says, "You do? I want to go and see that."
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would add, Jeff was talking a little bit about finances, and I just submitted a request to 3M. They have a program that's available to retirees of once a year. If they donate labor, the 3M will reimburse up to $500. So I just submitted a request to have 3M donate $500 on behalf of the work that I've done. And so I think it'll take probably a month before one of us will see the request to accept that, and then they cut a check sometime after that. But I know that Sam and Dr. Mitchell have been through that process before, so they should be getting an email in about a month.
It still sounds to me like Jeff and Jim need to go back to work.
Yeah. Although you're saying back to work, you have to work in the first place.
Well, but if you show up, it sounds like you get more money.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, the other idea that we've thought of before is get other people to go to work for 3M, or to recruit 3M employees or retirees into the QCAS. And then the other extension of that thought is that, any other club members that work for a company that has such a program, please tap into those and take advantage of things that their employer is willing to donate money.
So tying on to that, some people worry about their companies having to, donating that money. But what happened to Mid-American Energy years ago, they used to support like the BICS and all kinds of events downtown Davenport. And they were getting grief from all these other towns because, well, if you're supporting Davenport, why don't you support us? So they totally stopped doing that, and they put together this Global Days of Service program. So I donate my time, and I can have them, they kind of match my hours with money, and I can send it to any charity. So they don't have to be a member of the club, but they're doing that because now it's not them so much donating the money or helping out a city. It's the employee saying, I'm doing this work and this is where I want it to go. So that's how they kind of are keeping in the loop of donating, so that they can do their tax thing and say how, charitable they are to the community because they donated X amount of dollars, but it's not on them where it goes. So they're kind of doing them a favor too by getting them out there to support the community. So.
Good program.
So the other thing is, I know a number of you guys went out to Wilton with me, and those hours would count toward whatever. So if you got a job like that, go out once in a while, and that's part of cross training that be support. And going forward, they're going to have us support the observatory. They'll be donating money to us each year to do that. So not only will the school donate it, but if you work at a place that does that, you can turn in those hours and kind of get a double better out of it.
Oh, you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We decided that you're our presentation for tonight, Paul.
I am.
No pressure. Yeah, no pressure, but just make sure it's good. We need 45 minutes with a PowerPoint presentation with audio. Okay, maybe not.
I can talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me swap over to my laptop, and that'll make it a little easier. So give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Paul coming back on.
Yeah. We lost somebody else. We lost you.
Oh, we lost me somehow.
Yeah.
Hey, there he is.
Paul? Okay.
How did I go away?
All right.
All right.
So this past week, I had the opportunity to visit the Keck telescope in Hawaii.
Evan, wait 1 second.
Paul, can you hang on a minute? We're having some speaker troubles here.
All right.
Recording in progress.
How's your mute?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yep, you're back.
But turn off your microphone.
Moment.
All right. I had somewhere, here it is. So I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Keck telescope, but there's a telescope on Mauna Kea, and before it's two 30-meter telescopes, and before they were built, they kind of pioneered the idea of making reflector telescopes with segments. So before Keck tried this segmented mirror, the 10-meter was about the capacity that you could do with a reflector telescope, because larger than that, just the weight of the mirror just makes it impractical to maintain focus, and it would pretty much break under its own weight. So they kind of pioneered the segmented mirror, and this is one mirror segment. They have spares that they work on and repair from time to time. So I grabbed this picture, but basically there's 36 mirror segments to the Keck telescope. And when they had first light with just 8 mirror segments, it was already the largest telescope in the world. So that was just with 8 of the 36 mirror segments that they did. So before that, the Hale telescope at 10 meters was the largest telescope. So I'll kind of pull up some of these pictures that I took while I was there. So this is a view of other telescopes at the summit of Mauna Kea. The only ones I know for sure, I believe this one with the silver dome is Gemini North, which is part of two telescope systems. There's the Gemini North and a Gemini South, I believe, in Chile. And this one to its right, I think, is the Canada-France telescope. I think there's like 13 total telescopes at the summit. Is there a way? I don't even know what I'm doing, how to get to different telescopes, but this is Keck. These are all Keck vehicles. They park in reverse in case they need to evacuate quickly. So that's one of their rules. Let's see. This is a tunnel that kind of exists between the two telescopes. NASA is a 1/6 partner of the foundation for the Keck telescopes. And they were doing, I believe the word's interferometry, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea is you use the two telescopes together, and together they operate as a much larger telescope. But in order to pull it off, you have to slow down the light because the speed of light is too fast for that type of technology. They developed this system that pretty much delays the speed of light, and they kind of gave up on it. They stopped the funding through it, but this equipment is still in the basement. And my understanding is the light from the last experiment over a decade ago is still in the system, working its way through gases and different things. I thought that was pretty fascinating. But it's just in the basement, not being used anymore. They may come back to it, but it was strictly a NASA project. So as a 1/6 partner, they get 1/6 of the telescope time. So this is a picture from the elevator. I didn't have a hard hat, so I couldn't step out there, but the first time I was able to see the telescope. Is anybody familiar with the type of telescope that this is? Any points for anybody that knows the telescope type? Al, I know you do. Any guesses?
Richie?
It's not a Ritchie Kreischer.
Okay.
So there's a primary mirror, and then there's a secondary mirror. But instead of having a hole in the primary mirror and collecting it through there, it has a third mirror here. I don't know if my pointer is showing up, that kicks the light out the side. And that makes it a Cassegrain-Naismith telescope. So the focal length is 17.5 meters, and it's a 10-meter telescope. So focal ratio, it really doesn't matter at that point, but it's f1.75. Incredibly fast telescope. And there's one other picture that I'll have to share. I could just Google it. But right before this telescope so this is what's kind of interesting on the back. This is like behind the primary mirror in this view. And you can see that there's these contraptions behind it. And the most difficult thing about any reflecting telescope is getting the edge of the mirror right. If the edge is wrong at all, you get a very poor image. And when you have a segmented mirror, you put the edge absolutely everywhere across the telescope, which was horrifying to a lot of people that did not want to go with this design, but they felt that they could do it. And what they did was they're able to warp each piece, each mirror segment into its correct orientation so that they can have perfect focus across the mirror. Now, I don't know if you've heard the term adaptive optics, but my impression always was that they used these contraptions on springs with the adaptive optics system. But I found out from somebody that would be called active optics, where you change the primary mirror. Adaptive optics is when you make changes to the secondary mirror and the light through that system. And basically they're able to make about 3,000 changes per second to adapt for the atmosphere. And so what they do is they shine a laser into the atmosphere. And because of, I believe it's sodium that's included in a lot of meteors that hit our atmosphere, they're able to create a guide star bright enough anywhere they need to that they use for adaptive optics for finer focus. And that became declassified just as they had first light. So they were the first telescope to use adaptive optics and kind of pioneered the telescopes for, adaptive optics for the use of a telescope, not just, military weapons. Anybody know this telescope? Subaru? Yeah, this is the Subaru telescope, which you may have seen in that piece of garbage Netflix film with what's his name. It made an appearance, but it's a kind of a wide field. It's the National Telescope of Japan, and they have offices in Hilo, but it's a wider field telescope than Keck, and a lot of times astronomers will swap telescope time with this telescope. Right now, they're in the search for Planet 9. They're commonly swapping telescope time to use Subaru because it's a much better instrument in the search for Planet 9. I don't know what else I have. But in one of the presentations, let me see if I can find it. I'll stop my share real quick. So you can kind of see the difference between what adaptive optics can do on Keck. I'm not really gonna find anything. I guess this is kind of. I guess this is probably the best I can do real quick.
You want me to send that picture you sent me?
Yeah, I was kind of looking for something, but this is basically, large terrestrial telescopes, but with adaptive optics, it just becomes a completely different animal. I mean, it's unbelievable the detail that you can get. It's, because you can do much larger telescopes on Earth than you can in space. The benefit obviously is size, but the atmosphere is where you struggle. Here it is. So this was Neptune without adaptive optics using Keck, and this is with adaptive optics, and it's unbelievable. And when they launched this image and they released it, the science community said you faked it. They said there's absolutely no way. But they proved it over and over again, and just absolutely, it was astounding to the scientific community what they're able to pull off with adaptive optics. So it's a pretty neat instrument. Mauna Kea is, they say it's the best place on planet Earth for astronomy, and having the best telescope is pretty impressive. Obviously, that's where they'd like to put the 30-meter telescope if that gets funded and approved. But for now, the Keck telescopes are, in my opinion, the best there is.
I'm showing them the picture you sent me.
Oh, I thought I was sharing. Yeah, it looks like it probably wasn't. But yeah, go ahead. I didn't. So do I still have that up? I do. Here, I'll pull it up. Oh, I was one click away. Here we go. So yeah, just with just without adaptive optics, this was Neptune, and it was pretty impressive. Papers, were written on this image, but with adaptive optics, that's the clarity that they're able to get, and over and over with whether it's galaxies, or I think the other image that's pretty impressive was Keck was used to discover the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. They took images of Sagittarius A star over 10 years, and just this past year, the scientists won the Nobel Prize.
Awesome.
So somewhere I have a picture of the imager. It's been retired, but they just have the imager in the lobby, which was pretty cool to see. So that's about all I have, not 40 minutes, but
So did you make a decision yet?
I have not. I don't know what's going to happen.
How long did it give you?
Oh, we haven't even gotten to that yet. So I'm sure we'll keep talking.
I got other questions though.
Absolutely.
So most of these telescopes are up like at a 14,000 feet level, right?
Right.
Most of them are above the clouds. So, and what I've heard is that when you get up there, because the air is so rare, most people have to go through some training in order to learn how to read up there. Did they, when they asked you to join them and go up there, did you have to do anything special to go up?
Well, so yeah, that's interesting. So they do have oxygen sensors that you take immediately when you get there. And I did 2 tests after. So when I got there, I think my pulse was at 63 and my oxygen was 98%. When I left, it was 87. So my pulse had increased a little bit. My oxygen fell from 98 to 88. Somebody else in my group was at 82, which is kind of getting close to, but they do have a limit at how long they'll let you work at altitude. And obviously if somebody feels somebody else isn't acting right, pretty much you just go down. On the way up, they have a kind of like a little base station, but it's a little visitor center, and it's at 5,000 feet. And you need to stay there for a half an hour at least before you continue. The next stretch was pretty insane, but it's you go up to 14,000 feet over 7 miles. And it's a pretty steep incline, and it isn't paved the whole way. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that when you start talking about like computer equipment, it's not so much the temperature that you need to worry about, but a lot of drives and storage and different types of electronics just don't like to function at 14,000 feet.
So did you stay there overnight at all to see it?
No, I was there during the day for like maybe 2 hours, something like that. Yeah, it would be pretty cool to go up at night. I didn't. Most people have actually never been up there at night. Usually they're just there during work hours. But yeah, the night crew is, it's not very many people. Most of the science operations actually take place at the headquarters, which is like 2,000 feet across the island.
As they warned me at the visitor center that only 4-wheel drive vehicles should even attempt to make it the rest of the way to the top.
Yeah, if 4-wheel drive is required, but it's not for traction. It's actually having 4-wheel braking is what's really important. And with a lot of engine braking. They had a lot of rules about how to drive their cars. You have to have the air conditioning on, it has to be on circulation at maximum. And, using a lot of first gear on the way down. And you don't ride the brakes, you kind of slam on and get slower than you want to be, and then kind of let gravity speed you up. It's not a fun drive. I mean, it was not pleasant going up or down.
Thank you all.
That was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions? It's really, really cool spot. There are tours that will take you up to the top to just kind of see the outside of those telescopes. But yeah, it's very rare to get inside those buildings.
What was that question you asked? If it was the new Meade?
Oh, yeah, I asked one of the scientists if it was the new Meade. Kind of looked, with their blue color, they didn't think it was too funny.
Probably not. If you look on the side, it now says Orion.
Yeah, that's right.
Any other questions?
So how long were you there total?
How long on the Big Island?
Yeah.
I flew in Monday morning, and I left Saturday morning. It's 6 hours difference from the East Coast to Hawaii, which is pretty considerable. So coming home, I got to the airport at noon Saturday and got home noon Sunday. It's a horrible trip coming home.
You guys look at any housing or anything?
No, I just kind of looked at some areas, but mostly just kind of seeing the island and touring. Looked at saw the volcano. It was pretty cool to see lava bubbling and get to a Hawaii farmer's market. That's pretty cool.
Macadamia nuts farm, no orchid farm, none of that.
I did snorkel with the manta rays. That was pretty cool to see the giant 12, 15 foot manta rays come right up to your nose. It's pretty neat.
Doesn't sound like it.
Paul, are you thinking about accepting a job out there? Is that why you're going out there?
Yeah, they flew me out. They were very generous to fly me and my wife out for a few days and put us up and show us around. It's definitely a different world, definitely a different budget.
So you spent the whole time on the Big Island, or did you go anywhere else?
Just the Big Island. Yeah, I did learn you can fly to the other islands for under $50, which sounds pretty neat. Everybody's been everywhere that lives in Hawaii.
Bettendorf now.
So have you been there before?
I never imagined I would ever get to Hawaii.
You tell them how much a Big Mac is out there.
Oh gosh, I think it's $9, $11 for something like that. I did have my first $300 dinner, $101 to fill up the gas tank for a sedan. It's about $6, $6.04 a gallon diesel. That's expensive.
It's expensive.
No houses for sale under $1 million within 20 minutes of headquarters.
Yeah.
That's in Honolulu though. Wrong island. So then Big Island is pretty quiet. So compared to like Honolulu, that is just the center of.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up things like population density between like Hilo, which is the most populous city. It's 40,000 in Hilo. That's the east side. It's the rainiest city in the US. So they get about 160 some odd inches of rain a year. what's really kind of interesting about the Big Island, I don't know if you know this, there's 13, I guess, depending on what you look at, 13 subclimates in the world. And the Big Island of Hawaii, just by itself, has 11 of them. So you can live in a rainforest, a desert, tundra, you name it, you can live there. And sometimes you only have to go across town to get to a completely different subclimate. There's a Waimea, which is right in the middle, and it's kind of at the top of that area. The east side of town and the west side of town are just drastically different. They differ by over 100 inches of rain. It's like living across Eldridge and having 100 inches of rain difference. It's just absolutely crazy watching the clouds just kind of come up and empty out, and it's pretty neat. And then very dry on the the windward side on the east and the leeward side on the west coast. So their weather goes east to west, or east to west.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty neat area. But so what was there was a question? Oh yeah, population. It's so the size of the Big Island of Hawaii is as big as the rest of the islands combined twice. It's absolutely enormous compared to the other islands. It's actually bigger than 2 states, Rhode Island and whatever else is small up there. So Hawaii's pretty big. Big Island's really big.
Did you take tours to the Volcano National Park?
I did, yep. Well, we drove there. We hiked down a volcano. I forget what it's called. And then we went to the rim of, I think it's Mauna Loa that's erupting right now. Or I don't think it's Mauna Loa, I don't remember. But yeah, pretty neat hike to hike down to the base of, I mean, what's technically not a dormant volcano, just not erupting right now. But it erupted, I think, like 1918. I think it last erupted.
It's active. I think there's still lava flow going, and there's big plumes out of this ocean. You can see from this.
Yeah, I might have some. I don't know. I took some pictures of the lava flow. It turned out pretty good. But it's all right now. It's all just in the base of the volcano. It's not spilling out into the ocean. But it added something like 500 square feet or a lot more. It increased the size of Hawaii significantly when it did erupt. So they only let you so close because the gas is actually pretty dangerous. So a lot of people seem disappointed that they couldn't just look over the rim and stare down into lava, but they don't let you all that close. Actually, somebody brought a telescope to look at the lava. But yeah, and it's the southernmost point in the country. So we went down to the southern tip, so I could be the furthest south person for a few minutes.
That was a night sky.
So that's what's kind of interesting. I was a little disappointed that it doesn't seem like any nights stay clear all night. There's a lot of cloud activity coming off the mountain. A lot of clouds on the east side where the clouds kind of get formed and rise and kind of tumble over themselves with moisture. But what's nice about Mauna Kea is it's above the cloud system, so that it's absolutely clear. I forget how many nights, 300 some nights a year are perfectly clear. But yeah, it didn't seem like even where we were staying on the dry side that there were even nights that were, I would have even considered setting up a telescope. I did get a picture just with my camera of the Southern Cross, so that came up enough. It was about from our balcony, it was about tree height. But I was able to see this, I believe, the Southern Cross. I know there's like the False Cross that's very similar. I guess if you can't make out the red star, you don't know which one you're looking at, but I believe I was looking at the Southern Cross.
The long axis, the long axis points due south. That's the real.
Okay, so in looking at one of my apps, it looked like the Carina Nebula was up pretty high, high enough so it would have been worth trying to image. A couple other things I looked up that were visible, like the Statue of Liberty Nebula, which would be pretty cool to shoot. And the Fighting Dragons of Ara, I'd like to shoot that. That comes up high enough. Those were things that were barely high enough for the Winter Star Party that I was going to go to before it got canceled. But Hawaii for sure. It did kind of seem like the Big Dipper was a little different. I really couldn't figure out why I felt that way, but just trying to figure out the orientation of the North Star and its altitude, it just seemed different.
Oh, Paul, very interesting. Thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
Kind of ambushed you there.
That's all right. My mount. So I sent my Celestron back for. I needed to get a new deck motor, but I'll give them thumbs up on their support. They said it'd be about 10-15 days before they got to it, and they had it fixed in a day. Couldn't believe it. So they just replaced the deck motor.
You have it back now?
No, it originally said tomorrow, but now I got an email that said it'll be Wednesday. So anyways, I do need to run. I have family in town, but I'm glad I got to see everybody.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks,
Nice
Paul.
to meet you, Paul.
Thanks for logging on.
All right.
Left here. They said just old business or new business.
I brought that one on. It's kind of old business, but see, when Cecil and I went out to Wilton Observatory, we were trying to do the modeling, and we wanted later on to see if the if we were in focus, because we were still failing, and we just slewed over to the moon. And I took a quick, that's a screen print of the computer monitor today. So it's like focus to me. Yeah, it wasn't. It was close enough to focus, especially since that was just a live shot with the camera on the screen doing a live image. So anyway, I just was going to show that.
All right, is there any other business people wants to bring up tonight?
That looks familiar. So, my little clan of people got me this as a one of my retirement gifts. This star map of the day and the last second I was working at Mid-American Energy. It's pretty cool. I don't know, was that zoomed in? I've been zoomed in on this thing before.
Superboy. Superboy.
Nerdy.
So I do know my coworkers well enough that the emphasis was on the anus part. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. You're an anus?
Yeah. No, I did anus.
Yeah, I know.
super void too.
Yes. But it's cool because it's got the date and time and the Latin longitude there. So that was fun. Thank you again. You're welcome. I'm sure that Travis masterminded that.
No, it was all card.
Yeah, right. Maybe the Amos part.
Scott emailed you retired yet.
Yeah.
You hang it up.
Not yet.
Just make a motion too.
I got decent range.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Well, I did buy a new piece of equipment.
Oh, no. Now it's gonna rain for a month.
I know. I haven't, I bought a new piece of equipment, plus I have a scam warning. It goes to, earlier when I was talking about my 90 millimeter not having good resolution. So I decided right after that Saturday to start looking for 100 millimeter triplet that A, I could afford, and B, falls into weight category. The Solar Quest that I have has a maximum weight of 11 pounds. And trying to find a 100 millimeter lens, telescope with what I have to have on it, that's only 11 pounds is like almost impossible. So I looked at several different places and I came across a site called sailtelescope.com. And they had for sale a 100 millimeter stellar view F7, I think, for $14.77, which is probably half of what one regularly goes for. I checked it out and too heavy. Then I looked and they had a 90 millimeter triplet that fit the weight, and it was $10.77. So, I mean, it was everything, what the heck, who knows what this is? It looked like a good American site. So I bought it, I ordered it, and you get through everything. I get the credit card out and they say, oh, we don't take credit cards. It has to be an international bank transfer.
Yeah.
Which is clue number one. Then when I again started looking at things, it's not an American company. There are two addresses, one in Shanghai and one in Indonesia. That's, clue number two. And so I started sending them emails. I got them all returned. So it's like, there's got to be something fishy. And then Jeff suggested that, I do an internet search, and I did, and I found nothing but bad news about this site. And if you do an international bank transfer and it's a scam, you're out of luck. You've got no place to go. So, I decided to not, I couldn't go through with the sale anyway, but I'm not going to do anything with them for sure. So it's sailtelescope.com. You stay away from those guys altogether. So I'm trying to find a 100 millimeter telescope. And the only one I find that works for 11 pounds is a Skywatcher 100 millimeter. It's an F9, which falls into being okay for the cork. But I wasn't exactly sure how decent it was. I looked at reviews and it's, sounded good. I sent an email off to High Point Scientific, who I usually buy things from. And like the day after I decided not to buy from the other place, I got an email back from one of their guys who owns one of those and says, A, it's very, very sharp. And he said, you won't be able to tell the difference literally between that telescope and the triplet. So those sell for $1,255. I went on to eBay and found an open box Skywatcher 100 for $8.99, which I figure is a pretty good deal. Jeff suggested that I offer them $700 and see what they say. They emailed back and said, we can't do 7, but we'll do $750. So I bought it for $750. And it says it's being shipped, but all they've done so far, oh, that's free shipping as well. They're sending it FedEx, so they've got a tracking number, and that's all they got. But anyway, so I'll be getting that in a few days.
From Indonesia?
No. No, it's actually a place in Arizona. Surprise, Arizona.
Oh,
You'll be surprised. Surprise.
It's gonna be a surprise, all right. They said it had a dent in the case, but when you look at it, it looks like somebody stuck their foot all the way through the aluminum case. But anyway, that's fixable. So the tube weighs 3 pounds. And if you put all the accessories that they have included, which is a 2-inch diagonal, they've got a couple of eyepieces and a right angle finder, it comes to 8.6 pounds. So once I add everything I have to do, I'll be under 11 pounds. So that's my new purchase coming. And I'm going to use it primarily for solar, but I could use it for anything else if I want. So that's my story for this month.
Sticking to it. Yep. All right. Very interesting, Cecil.
Money transfer.
Good lesson for would-be consumers anywhere.
You know, the first thing, when you find sites like this, all that you have to do is go to Polynight, search for the name of the site, and you will get hundreds of people that will tell you, stay away from that place. You will find immediately, because like you, a lot of people have gone to these places and think, man, this sounds really good. And the next thing that you know is, it's too good to be true. So if you ever have to do anything like that again, just go to Polynight and search for it. They'll tell you immediately if it's a scam.
Well, one guy said that he traveled all over the world and he actually went to the address and it's like an empty building. Said they don't have anything. And one guy said that he ordered the telescope and they said that it was being shipped and was at the airport, but he had to buy a second telescope before they could send the first one. And one guy said he sent his money and didn't get it, and it's just gone. That's why I said that place is an absolute scam wall.
Reiterate my motion. To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, unless there's anything else. There a second.
Second.
All those in favor, adjourn.
Aye.
All right. Next board meeting is June 1st. Next club meeting is
20th.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Did anybody fix it
Robert,
yet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
see,
I think Jim was out there looking at it and all we had to, I think that it'd be a good idea if we added a bolt lock to it too.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah, yes.
Has anybody done anything to repair the door so it latches on the dome?
I don't believe so.
Well, you were talking about wanting to make sure it was strong. That I can do the same thing to that I did to my garage door at home. Put some, make an angle iron framework on the one side there.
I thought you were talking about a big dog.
And I mean, I can fix it if they guys want it.
You know, John and Mike probably know more about that door. I only went and opened it because either Mike or John had asked me if the concrete had heaved at all and whether the door operated easily. And the door did operate freely, but as has been pointed out, it's not locked currently. So I don't know if Mike's still on and wants to jump in here with any comments, but I mean, it makes sense to me that we take you up on the offer to get it so that we can lock it, but I don't really remember what the situation was up to this point.
Yep.
Yeah, again, still. I got lunch next Friday.
They said you had on Saturday.
Try it out, see if it fits.
Oh, yeah, pretty sure it fit. This little thing here, you just need to take the plate out, but you got like, and we did with the other one. Just take the plate out, connect it, and put it in.
I don't know.
That's it. Steps you had to have.